Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading room. Get the screen share going on. All right. Well, a bit of a soft start here to the day right now. Market looking maybe a little bit bullish. Yesterday, although we did see a little bit of a rally here during the afternoon, it was relatively quiet. The market kind of retracing that lunch hour rally. The overnight, very quiet, so it just seems to be another bit of a dull day. Well, at least to start. It's too early to tell. But I think we're going to give them a few minutes here to settle in. All right, a little bit of a push up there. Kind of challenging the highs of the last few days. If we go here to our daily NASDAQ chart, you can see we've kind of drifting a little bit sideways. Trading over the same numbers, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 4 or 5 days anyways. This rather large bar right here is going to contain the market. Once we get past the range of this bar, we should see the market continue higher or lower, but right now they just seem a little bit stuck. Okay, we're getting a bit of a a counter trend pushback. Fairly quiet though, I have to say. Okay, we're back to the hard edge. So we're going to anticipate some sort of reaction, but we really are moving in slow motion here. Okay, here we go. We've got the hard edge bounce going on now. So we've got the number 3 signal. We did get a number 2 signal that did follow through. The hard edge is the target for that number 2 signal. Now we're coming back with a number 3 signal. The Geiger counter actually indicating that the market should follow through on this number 3 signal. It is around quarter to the hour though, which is usually my least favorite time of the day to trade. Mickey's asking, my chart didn't print the number 2 signals that yours shows at 6:36, nor did it print as many dots and triangles as your chart did. Does this mean anything? Probably not, but here, let's just go into the settings because you can adjust the sensitivity of your number 2 signal. So if you go to your indicator window and you find your Raptor 2.0, if you pull down about halfways, you're going to see signal. You can adjust signal parameters hard edge. You can make it a trend confirmation. You can turn that on or off. You can see by default it's turned off. But here the soft edge, signal parameters SE. That is your number 2 signal. By default it is set at 1.01. If you would like to introduce more signals, you can go. Normally I actually have it up at 1.25. So the greater this value, the more number 2 signals you're going to introduce. The minimum bar setup is the opposite. The lower that value, the more number 2 signals you will introduce. So you can make the indicator more or less discriminating. Now, after that, it's probably just part of the data feed. You can see how that number 2 signal is no longer there. The number 2 signal printed down here now. So it's not always on your end. Sometimes it's on my end, but you shouldn't worry about it too much. And I'm going to show you why here in a second. I'm just going to go back here to the default setting. Oh, see, it didn't print again anyway. It's because these signal prompts are just that. They are just prompts to alert you. You should endeavor to learn to spot the formations independent of the signal prompts. For instance, what is this signal right here? Okay, class, wake up. What is that signal right there that I've highlighted? I'll wait here for a moment while you search your keyboard for either the 1, 2, or 3. All right, well, Mickey's playing. Thanks, Mickey. A number 2 signal, that's right. But did it print as a number 2 signal? No, it did not. Why is that? Well, you just saw the parameters for the number 2 signal in the Hawk, or pardon me, in the Raptor. So we had a minimum bar set up, and chances are that this signal was 1 or 2 bars too long setting up. Because here's the high, here's the retest, this is where the signal prints. Does that negate this number 2 signal? No, most definitely it does not. In fact, it may have been more desirable to get in at this signal than try to get in at this signal. So you have to remember the signal prompts are just there to alert you. If you see a number 2 signal develop early, or a number 1 signal develop early, or a number 3 signal, I've pointed out before as well, let's see if I can find you one, where sometimes the market will come down. Well, here's an example. This bar came 1 tick short of intersecting the hard edge. Does that mean this is not a number 3 signal just because the number 3 did not print? No, of course not. So, you know, like I say, the signal prompts are there that if you're busy doing your emails or watching a TV show or reading a book, they will alert you to the possibility of a trade as it develops. But when you're following the market and you see this kind of thing going on, you should be anticipating a number 3 signal. And just because it does not print does not mean that it is not a valid signal to take. So to that end, you shouldn't be too upset if, as was the case with Mickey this morning, my chart was printing a little bit differently than his. It has more to do with your data feed. And you can see by refreshing my chart, I actually lost that earlier number 2 signal that was printing right here. But it is still a number 2. Phil asked, name the signals again, please. Is number 2 a continuation? No, it is not. We should have made it the continuation, but I don't know what we were thinking there. Okay, so let's just do a quick review of the signals. By the way, if you want a thorough review of the signals, the August 2nd recording on our YouTube channel is a good one to review. Let's see if I can find you something a little bit more textbook. Here we go. Okay, let's do the number 1 signal. The number 1 signal is your cloud crossover signal. It shows you that a new trend is trying to emerge. It occurs when your clouds cross. Let's see if I can find you a better one still. Because that one wasn't quite. Okay, this one will work. Your clouds change direction. So here the clouds were stacked in a bullish fashion. Then they changed direction in a bearish fashion. There is a pullback, and then the market tries to continue in the new direction of the crossover. When that happens and all the signal parameters are met, you will produce a number 1 signal. The number 3 signal is the continuation signal. In order to have a continuation signal, you must first have something to continue. So when you're looking at your possible number 3 signal, you have to look left on your chart and you have to say, is there something resembling a trend here? Because you cannot continue anything if the market is sideways. So from here, it looks as though there is a little bit of a trend emerging. Your number 3 signal will occur after a market pullback. It's essentially buying or selling a market pullback is what it is. You're going to pull back, you're going to intersect the hard edge. Doesn't matter whether it's the first one or the second one. The market will try to continue in the direction of the trend. If all the trade parameters have been met, you will produce a number 3 signal. So that is your continuation signal. The number 2 signal is your reversal signal. In order to have a reversal signal, you must first have something resembling a trend to reverse. So just like the number 3 signal, the number 2 signal means that you have to have a trend preceding it. The number 2 signal will also work out better when your trading band gets to be quite broad. Now you'll have to do a little bit of research for the market that you're interested in, but by and large for the NASDAQ, when we start to get about 20 to 25 points broad, that would be 40 or 50 ticks. Oh, no, sorry, I did that wrong. 10 to 20 points broad, because there's 4 ticks per point. That would be anywhere from 40 to 80 ticks. You can start to look for the potential of a number 2 signal to print. So the number 2 signal will show you first a trend, and then it will show you first a trend, and then it will show you a retest of that trend or an attempt to resume the trend, and then a failure. Again, if all the signal parameters have been met, we're going to print a number 2 signal. The target for that number 2 signal is the hard edge of the trading band. Your number 2 signals will also tend to work out a little better if there's a number 3 signal in the middle. Now, you can see here, we didn't print a number 3 signal, did we? But we did get a hard edge bounce, which is what we're looking for in a number 3 signal. So we had a number 2 signal, we had a hard edge bounce, then we came back with another number 2 signal. This second number 2 signal, this one right here, is the more reliable of the two. All right, so if you're looking to see how you can qualify the signals, which is going to be stronger, this is a better setup than this. All right. And once again, the target is the hard edge. But at the end of the day, a lot of times it becomes a matter of logistics. Sometimes it's desirable, you know, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, all right, well, there was a decent trend and my trading band is now, let's see, we're at 74.02 and it looks like the top 74.17. So what's that, about 15, 16 points? We're nearly 50 ticks broad. The advantage of doing this trade, this first signal, is that you can minimize your risk exposure, right? Typically on counter trend trades, unless I'm trading a lot of money, I'll usually just go in with a single contract. Because counter trend trades by their nature are a lot riskier. There's every reason to expect the market's going to resume the trend at this point here when it comes off the hard edge. That's why the second number 2 signal is a little bit more reliable, because at this point we already know that no, chances are pretty good the market will not resume the trend at this point. But look at the signal, you know, we're a little bit later getting in. Had we taken the earlier signal, hooray, we would already have reached our profit objective. So sometimes it's a little bit of a balancing act like that. Sometimes you're trading off something in favor of something else. Yeah, that number 3 signal right there, see, comes into the hard edge, number 3 signal, very nice follow through. And once again, you have to have something resembling a trend to continue. That's your first question when you're looking at a number 3 signal. Is there something that looks like a trend here to send the market higher? And just for for fun, you should go through your market, your charts, and see how often the number 2 signals work out. And it will just hopefully reinforce in your mind how particular you need to be on the number 2 signal. What makes the number 2 signal so darn inviting is that when they do work, the follow through is usually very fast. And if the market, does continue against the trend, it will probably knock quite a few of the buyers out, which can sometimes result in a rather large move. All these things make counter trend trades so darn tempting. Oh, had to reach for my mute button there. Had a sneeze coming on. All right, boys and girls, what have we got going on now? What kind of signal might we be anticipating at this point on our Raptor? Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I can see where you're going with that, Mickey. Mickey says a number 3 signal. I'm thinking the band might be getting a little bit broad. The Geiger counter's getting a little bit bearish here. Maybe we're going to see a number 2 signal develop. But you know what, Mickey? You're right. You should always stay with the trend as much as possible. Like I said, those darn counter trend signals, they always look so tempting. Now we're getting some buy warning dots. Yeah, see, there goes the Geiger counter again. It's turning green. So what you could even do at this point, the market's being a little bit reluctant to do one thing or the other, you could throw an OCO order in. You could buy above If you produce a number 2 signal, it's going to produce down here below this swing. So you could even do that. You just put an order to buy above the high and order to sell below that little swing low and see which way the breakout takes you. Now, this is not an ideal trade, folks. We don't have a whole heck of a lot going on here this morning, so I'll show it to you. And while we're waiting on this opportunity to develop, I'll also mention that next couple of days, unfortunately, I do need to cut the trading room a little bit short. So we're going to be closing the room again at the bottom of the hour today and tomorrow. My apologies, but I've got some out-of-town business I need to deal with. I gotta hit the road. All right, so they filled to the short side. You can see that number 2 signal we were anticipating. Like I say, the target for this trade would be the hard edge. I'm going to get a stop in play now. Almost down to the hard edge, and the break even. Darn it, getting a little bit of an early bounce now here off of that first hard edge. They're trying. Hit the break even, and now let's see whether they're going to give me the hard edge or if they're going to flinch here early. Come on. The best stop, by the way, is still up here. I'm not sure I have the patience for that today. Nope. Nope. They just did not have enough. It's that kind of day. This may well have been the move of the day right here. That hard edge bounce. All right, let's put that on the shelf. Mickey asking, and thank you for asking questions, because otherwise it would be a very boring day. Mickey asks, how were you getting the horizontal dots for your stops at 74.29? I was using the swing strategy. So I've got it's currently set at swing high. The tick offset was set at 0. I bounced it up to 5. So you accept that, and then you click enable, and if you have an active order, that will become your trailing stop. Great question here from John, and it's a question that I get fairly regularly. John's asking, once the trade manager gets going on Ninja 8, do you foresee full auto trader automation in the future? We've been toying with the idea. We're not opposed to the idea. The problem has always been, a black box. You're putting your financial control in the hands of a computer, and I used air quotes when I say hands. It's not that the market doesn't have trading bots. Chances are when you take a trade, there's a computer on the other side of your trade at Goldman Sachs or Bank of America or whoever is taking the trade. I don't know. It would, if we do go that route, one thing I can tell you is that the black box will be very limited in signal generation. I think, they'd have like 24 parameters to sort through. But we have entertained the notion. Oh, excuse me here a moment. Good old telemarketers calling at 7 o'clock in the morning. That just makes you really happy. And there's that number 3 signal. Okay, you can see now we're kind of waffling here a little bit. We're actually getting a rather drawn out number 2 signal, right? So this signal here, technically, again, number 2 signal, a counter trend signal, but it's not going to print as such because it's too big, right? It's too far removed. It's going to fall outside the programming parameters, but that does not mean it is not a counter trend opportunity. But I'm really going to try to avoid. I just said I was going to try to avoid it, and yet it looks. It looks pretty darn tempting, and we do have a second push opportunity. All right, let's give that a whirl. I'll throw a stop up there. It's just a single. All right, let's see whether or not we can get any follow through on this one. Like I said, these are not really your best looking type trades. And here comes another number 3. It's actually another situation where we're kind of in the sideways trading range, and you could potentially bracket a breakout higher or a breakout lower. It's do or die time for the sellers, though. Well, for the buyers, for that matter, as well. This the market will only tolerate so many swings, and when you start to get on this second part of this wave, you can anticipate that somebody is going to do something. Come on. Well, um, yeah, Dan asks, wouldn't it be better to bracket the range where your break even and stop loss are? Yes, that is definitely a possibility. The problem when the market is this quiet and this sideways is, of course, you're not getting um, any follow through. So that's the big problem right now. Chances are good that if we get a bullish break, it's not going to follow through either. It'll just be enough to tag me out. But like I said, wasn't an ideal opportunity. There just really wasn't very much going on. I am going to have to close up the room here in a moment. So if anybody has any questions, please type away. No, no more questions. All right, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow. If you're going to keep trading today, I think, this whole sideways mess that's going on is probably going to continue. The longer the market goes sideways, the more likely it will be to go down. But that doesn't negate a bullish break because that's kind of the way the market started going this morning. I will see you again tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.